Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. I'm on to show you these 3 Cinch journals that I made as my guest design team project for Whichcraft Do You Do. Now I did mean to have this video up yesterday and I did shoot it, edit it and put it up 2 times and watched it before I made it public and they were all fuzzy. I had no idea what was going on. So my iPad did need an update, so I've done that now. So this is my 3rd attempt. Fingers crossed they're not fuzzy this time. So we'll give it a go. So I used 4 of the digital kits from Whichcraft Do You Do between these journals, and that is the Birds Collection Set 1, the Bugs Collection Set 1, the Assorted Tickets and Labels Set 1 and Slides Set 3. So all those individual kits are linked below if you want to look at any of those specific kits, but I've also linked their shop down below as well. So with all of the journals, I've used old book covers, and on the raw edges, I've just covered it over with a bit of material. And I've used the plates from the kits as pictures on the covers and also as decorative pages. I've also used fly pages, the coloured fly pages from old books to back the plates for the decorative pages. So you'll see that as I show you through the journals. So I think we'll start with the butterflies. Put these 2 to the side. I have no idea how many pages are in each of these. I think it's different for each one of them. I was trying not to bulk them up, so they're quite simple. It's easy to get a bit carried away and keep adding stuff, but of course I'd get quite bulky and I want the recipient to be able to add a lot of stuff. So I'd say they're mostly writing journals, and I have left a lot of room to write and add things to them. So I've used some vintage gold photo corners on here and a little label, and I've used the collection labels on all the covers. And then on the back of this one I have this beautiful picture that I got out of a vintage book. And with the butterfly one, I did a bit of a whoopsie with the back cover and punched the holes on the wrong side, which meant that to get them to line up I had to put what should be the outside is on the inside, so I had to cover this. So I covered this with a bit of fabric. It's a bit rough, but it did work. We all make mistakes, and so I fixed that one. So there are charms on each one. I've got a little dangle, so it's a paper clip on this one that holds this beautiful little leaf charm and a little butterfly. So I've just got some words out of a book here and a fussy cut butterfly with one of the tickets from the kit. And so all of the plates I have stitched around the corner on because I like the look of that. I didn't stitch them onto the page, I just stitched around them and then stuck them on. And I've put tabs on all of these pages. So these are the end book page, and I have punched the tabs out of the same page to do that with, which I think looks really nice. I love the colours that you can get in your end book pages, and they went really well to back these beautiful bug plates or butterfly plates. So I did use some envelopes and make some little pockets, and I made these little journaling cards out of some graph paper index cards that I have, and I just inked them up a bit and used one of the labels there. Fortunately, a number of the labels had field research on them, which I thought was apt, so I used one of them in each journal. Put a little caterpillar there. So that just slips nicely in there, and you can see the label through the window. And I do have a number of postage stamps, so I was able to find one for each theme, for each envelope, which was great. And then I used my watermark stamps. Now I actually got them from Whichcraft Do You Do as well. They're the Darkroom Door Global Postmarks. So you can actually get this stamp set, one of the physical items that Whichcraft Do You Do stock, which is really cool if you like doing your faux postcards and that sort of thing. And then this is one of the specimen cards that I made with the butterfly wing and a dried flower. So you flip those over and you can write on the back of them. So I've added a lot of different papers in these that come from different diaries, journals, ledgers, that sort of thing. It's a bit of straw paper, I think it is there. Really nice texture. This is from a vintage business card holder. And I've added a shell collector's card, and then down the bottom is a cigarette card. This one's got this really weird looking caterpillar. It's got a funny looking face on it to deter predators. It's pretty freaky looking. And then in a marketplace haul, I got this set of butterfly cards, so I've added a few of them in here as well. And on the back, there's room to stick little notes or more cards. Some ledger paper, page out of a beautiful butterfly book. So this is where the paper clip is that I used to put the dangle on. And that holds this little envelope that I've put a fussy cut butterfly on one of the little labels. Now there are heaps of labels that were in one of the kits that had butterflies on, and there were lots of them with mushrooms and ferns and bugs and all sorts on. So they've come in so handy for all these journals. And then in there I've got another one of the butterfly cards. Graph paper, vintage book on butterflies and moths. I think it was an insect book, but it had that page in it. Love the colours of these fly pages with the plates. Now this is a 1960 appointment diary, so I've used that and just folded it up and stapled it to create this little pocket. And in there I've got a tag that's made with background pieces from the bug kit. I've used that in a lot of places. And I just backed it onto some cardboard that I had here. A fussy cut moth, and it's a royal walnut moth. I've backed the name onto a label here, and that's a freebie label from a page that is a freebie on Whichcraft Do You Do's shop. There's another one of their beautiful labels that I've got. So that slips in there nicely. This is a page from a kid's book and talks about a butterfly. It's got a butterfly there. Different papers are like this. It's sort of like a handmade paper that's got petals in it. It's beautiful. Now this is a page pocket which is also made out of bookend pages, and it's got a beautiful picture out of my butterfly book and a label from the kit, another one of the freebie labels. And in there I've got this book page, and it's got a poem about a chrysalis, and so I've put a fussy cut picture of a chrysalis caterpillar and a butterfly on there. And then on the other side it has a list of all these butterflies. So that just slips into that little pocket. And here's one of my specimen windows. So that's a pocket, and it has a tag with the tongue of a butterfly. And that came out of a vintage book, and it's backed onto one of the sort of backing papers from the Bugs kit. I've just used the labels. And that is backed onto a tea-dyed index card. The page from Butterfly Book. This is one of my page pockets. Again, that's a background page. And I've just added some postage stamps and a fussy cut and label. It's just a bit of scrap paper. So it's journaling spot there. Slips in there. That's the other side with a little fussy cut and label. And then in here you can fit heaps in this pocket, but I've just put in this journal card with an Apollo butterfly. So lots of writing space. There's my other specimen pocket, and that has antennae, the antenna of a moth. So a piece of paper from a guest book. Butterfly Migration. It's from a vintage book as well. I love this page because I love the colours on it. So it's from a vintage children's book about does a butterfly live for only a day. So it's got the information there, and then it had this beautiful picture which I've turned into a journal card. And then at the back of each of the journals, there's a envelope sort of flip, just made out of 2 envelopes. This has pictures of male butterflies with some information. And then in this envelope pocket, it has my slide. I need to do some dusting on it. And that's got butterfly wings in it. Now, I did do 3 process videos that showed me making some of the slides and other pieces for these journals. So I will link them down below if you're interested to go back and have a look at them. I also showed the kits that I'm using before I started cutting them up, so I'll link that as well. And in this envelope is this journal card with a red spotted butterfly. Now I used white envelopes in this one because they're narrower and fit in this journal well. And the other ones, they're brown envelopes that are a bit wider. Then on this side, I used this part of the envelope as a little tuck spot for this tag. It's got some of the background paper, a ticket, fussy cut butterfly, and one of the labels. And that slips in there. And it's just got some labels and another fussy cut butterfly. And then on here, which should have been the back, I put a guest check from one of the kits and this picture of moths just to finish it off. So that is the butterfly journal. Now, this is the first time I've done a Cinch journal. I've only used the Cinch once before to make some sort of glue book things for myself. So it's the first time I've done Cinch journals, and I'm so happy with how they've turned out. I'll definitely be doing a lot more of them in the future. I'm very glad that I got the Cinch. Okay, so the next one we'll do is a bug one. So this has a dragonfly dangle, and I used black Cinch binding there. So I've got my brown vintage photo corners on the plate on the front, and on the back it is Life and Death in the Insect World. That's off of the cover of a book. On the inside I've got the vintage page from that book, and I fussy cut a black and white beetle to put on there, which I love. I love the look of that black and white beetle, and just a bit of washi tape. Now the tabs, I did do a video on making these page tabs for this one, because these page tabs were made with slides as well. So, and again, all of these pages that the plates are backed onto are your end book page. So here's my little envelope pocket with my journal card. I love these beetles. I think they're so cute. And that just slips into there. Again, I've got my postage stamp there. And on the other side of that one, it did have a stamp with an address on there. So I've just covered that with a bit of lined paper. And there's my specimen, and that's just a stamped beetle. I think it's a Tim Holtz stamp, that one. And that has been backed with one of the backing papers out of the Bugs kit too. Some grid paper that I had. That's one of my tabs that I showed making. So that's a Tim Holtz insect wing from the Ideology collection, which went so nicely with this label from the kit. So I loved making that. And then on this side, the paper clip holds my little envelope here that has a card. The Bug kit has a lot of these little cards, which are really cool. And on the inside, I put this little journal card that I made with this picture. Small paper, guest book paper. This is some more of that 1960 appointment book with some more backing paper with lots of the labels. Another one of those cards from the insect Bug kit. vintage book page. This is my specimen pocket, and this one has the saws of a sawfly, and that's a sawfly there that I fussy cut from a book. And this is my business card holder, and it has the shell card and the cigarette card. It's got ants on it. And then it has this, which is a sticker that you used to get years ago, and you'd have the book that you'd stick them into. I cut it out of the book and backed it to make it more sturdy and put that in there. Dragonfly. And of course you can put more stuff in there. Importance of insects page. I love this page because the yellow goes so nice against that yellow. So I think the insect book has the most pages. Some ledger and different graph papers. It's another specimen tab. And that's just got one of my postage stamps with, I don't know if it's a grasshopper or a locust. It says, oh, cricket. I think it says cricket there. So heaps of writing space. I love all the bug pictures. And this is my other specimen pocket, and that's got tongue of a housefly and a fussy cut picture of a housefly there. I love the colours. It's sort of got a green tinge on this background paper. And then we've got like green here and just the murkiness of the label and everything. It just goes together so well. Insect body plans. This is my page pocket here. That's another one of the freebie labels there. And this is just out of a book about wasps. I've just added a tab there and some paper to write on. That just slips in there. There's my page pocket, one of the cards from the kit and a label. And I did that onto the background paper with some stamping. And there's the paper to write on. Small paper, a little bug creeping out from behind this label. And then in here is this tag that I made from, I think it was the cover of an insect book, which looks a bit gross, but I love the colours in it. It's pretty cool. It just slips in there. So tea-dyed index card. So I just love all these plate pages because they just brighten things up with all the colours and add the interest with the pictures. But they give room too for the recipient to add their own pictures or some more writing space or whatever they'd like to do. And here's my envelope flip out. It's got some postage stamps and a black and white picture with some labels. And then there's a story behind this one. That is my specimen card for this one. I had an idea, a last minute idea one day to dash out and see if I can find a really nice, pretty, ornate orb weaver web and try and trap it in between my transparencies here. So I run out and there was a storm coming, so I was in a bit of a rush, and yeah, I couldn't find a nice pretty web. So I found this, which I think is a redback web, and I am arachnophobic, so yeah, glad I'm semi-medicated because I think that's the only way I got through collecting this. But it's a bit dirty and stuff, but at least you can see it well with all the dust and stuff in there. So yeah, and I fussy cut this little spider to stick on there. Yeah, so whoever gets this one gets a bit of my spider webs. The things we do. And there's a grasshopper. A journaling card. And then on the back, There's another one of the beautiful cards from the kit and a label, and that's a little tuck spot for this tag that I made with the wasp picture. And then on the back here, I found this information. It's classification of insects, which I thought was really interesting. So I've stuck that on there with this bug peeking out. When I fussy cut him, I accidentally cut one of his antennae off. So, yeah, I did have it around here somewhere because I was going to stick it back on, but I sort of misplaced it. So poor thing's only got one. But, yeah, I think it looks pretty cool there. So that is my bug journal, which I love. And then the last one is my bird journal. So he's got the rose gold binding. And then he's got a hummingbird dangle there. And in I think it was a marketplace haul or something, or it could have been an op shop one, I got these 5 random beads. And I had just started on the cover when I got those beads, and they were the perfect colour to go with the cover, which I was finding it hard to find that colour, or the colour that's around here. So I was rapt when I found them, and I thought I had to try and fit them in somewhere. So I've got one there with the hummingbird, and then I've got 2 up here on a bulb pin. Now the tabs for this one I just made out of some tea-dyed linen. So we'll get into this one. There's a process video of me doing the cover as well, which will be linked below. Now I'll show you the back while we're at it. It's just got a label, the fussy cut. The owl comes from, in the bird kit, there are a couple of pages that have a whole heap of birds that you can fussy cut. So there's a few of them in here. So that's just out of a vintage book. And I cut this parrot out of a pamphlet that I had. Another page from a vintage book, and it's pretty rough and dirty and everything, but I love the colour and I really wanted to put it in here. Now there are a number of beautiful tags in this kit. Now these 2 I decided to leave quite plain and just add them as page flip bits. So I did that, and I added labels as little tabs up the top just because the colours went really well. So, and they can be journaled on. There's the business card holder, and it has the shell card. It's got a brolga, and then I think they look like quail down here on the cigarette card. And then there's a ticket that I think came from the assorted tickets and labels pack. It's got Royal Bird Sanctuary, so I thought that'd be nice to put in there. And then, of course, room to add your own thing. This is an Australian bird keeper subscription card that would have come out of a magazine. Now, I can't remember whether I got given these or they come out of the bins or something, but usually I keep this sort of thing when they come out of magazines because I figure I'll just collage over the top of them and recycle them. But I loved the colour of the print on this, so I thought one of them would be great, and whoever gets it can either leave it as is or they can collage over the top. I have an Australian bird diary that had these beautiful writing spots in and some really nice pictures, so I've added a few of them throughout this journal as well. Here is my pocket page, and it has this beautiful page out of a book. Just love the pictures. I wouldn't have the heart to fussy cut them or anything, so I thought I'm just going to add this as a little page that can just sit in the pocket, and if whoever gets this wants to take it out and use it elsewhere, they can. But it goes so nicely with the colour of the pocket. So that slips in there. Now, I loved the colour of these plates, so I didn't bother with any corners or anything like that. And when I put tabs on, I stuck them to the other side of the page because I didn't want to add anything else to these. There's my little envelope tuck and my little journaling card. That's one of the fussy cut birds from the kit. And I fortunately had found a couple of book pages that were full of eggs. So I was able to cut heaps of eggs out to use in this, which was heaps and heaps of fun for decorating. It's amazing how you can find kit pieces and book pages and other found items and put it together, and that they can go together so nicely like this. I love doing it. and just getting all these different bits and pieces and trying to make them go together. Now the kit also, the bird kit also comes with a lot of these stamps, which make great ephemera. So I've got piles of them to use in other projects, but I've added one here and I've added one down here as well. And this is my specimen card with some beautiful feathers. I'm trying to get rid of all these feathers that my daughter left here when she moved out, all these craft feathers. So I thought this was a good excuse to add a whole lot too. So there's one of the beautiful pictures from the bird diary that I have. And the colours went really nicely, so, and it gives you a nice writing spot as well. Ledger page. Isn't it beautiful? So here is my little envelope. Now I turned around the edges of my paper clips. I didn't do them as neat as some of my friends do that, and they do it so neatly and they look beautiful. I'm not very good at that sort of thing, so I did the best I could, but it was necessary because it takes the print off of my printables, and that was scratching everything. So I did that, and that's fixed that problem. But that's one of the birds that I fussy cut onto one of the tickets. And then in here is a journal card that I made with a pretty little nest on it. Beautiful vintage book page. My page pocket. I did show this one in one of my process videos, linked below. So it's got some of my eggs and feather. And one of the beautiful tags from the kit. I love this tag. And then a fussy cut bird label. And in here is another book page. I love this one because it's got the owl. So I thought that would go nicely with this owl. And then on the other side it has a whole lot of little birds as well. So again, whoever got this, if they didn't want to, if they wanted to put other stuff in this pocket and take this out, cut it up and use it, they could. That's the fun thing when you get journals like this. You can do what you like with them. There are no rules. Graph paper. Another owl from a vintage book. Now this is a specimen pocket. It has this beautiful picture of thrushes. Fits pretty tight in there, it does. But it does fit. If I get the tab over there, that's better. And then I've got a little feather up there, which is really sweet. And the labels. It was so much fun having so many different labels to be able to stick here and there. This is a page on bird watching. Another one out of the diary. Beautiful colours that went so well with this journal. That's information on feather. There's my 1960 appointment diary pocket page. Another lovely tag, and I've just added one of the little stamps with some of my stamping. Another vintage page on perching birds. Another little pocket specimen. More thrushes. Beautiful little pictures. I think they're out of an Observer's Book of Birds as well. It's a beautiful book, that one. Been hoarding all these books and pictures and everything. It's about time I started using them. There's a tiny little egg there and a beautiful feather. So here's my envelope flip for this one, and it's got a book page and label, and then the specimen in this one is this beautiful fluffy feather. I love that feather. And then I fussy cut one of the little birds from one of the stamps from the kit. And then I made a journaling card with this information about birds. This little tuck spot that's got fussy cut bird and some labels. And there, more eggs and feathers. Yeah, just love these. I love the colours. A couple of labels. That sits in there. And then on the back, I found this vintage children's book. It's a poem about who stole the bird's nest. I thought that was beautiful, so I put that in here with another one of the stamps. So that is the bird journal. So I had so much fun this month. It was just so inspiring. As soon as I went over and looked at the digitals to see which ones I wanted to use, I knew straight away what I wanted to do. I just couldn't decide between the birds and the bugs, so I did both. So yeah. So I want to say a massive thank you to the lovely ladies at Whichcraft Do You Do for giving me the opportunity to do a guest design team project this month. I have had an absolute ball. I was in a bit of a creative slump, and yeah, I just had so much fun with all of that. And it was just great fun to use my cinch as well and get used to it. So I'll be doing a lot more of that in the future. So do check out the shop link below. And if you like any of these kits, they're linked below as well. Take care of yourself. Happy crafting, and I will see you soon. Bye.